It would not be fair for me to summarize the full 3-4 hours of discussions because it has been very rich in itself. But I can put forward some of the reflections that I have, but also it's coming from the midterm review processes for the consideration and understanding of the audience that we have here today in the room, but also virtually present. As you would know, over the last year, more than a year now, through the midterm review of the Sendai framework, we have been trying to examine or understand in great depth what has been the progress in the implementation in the last 5 to 6 years, which also includes the priority 4 of Sendai framework that has to do with preparedness, building back better, recovery, and early warning. And in that, we have looked across, we have looked where we see some of the challenges, but some of the successes in the process, because countries have been investing. I mean, we heard so many experiences of member states, but also other stakeholders and actors, and there has been quite some investment going towards in countries at both at community level, federal level, or prefecture level to national level, and there is progress happening. As I listened to our colleagues today and had the opportunity to engage with them in the panel, one thing which is very evident is there's still so much to learn from these experiences that we have amongst various experts, but also in countries. And this is one of the benefits of having the IRP forum every year, to bring all of these experiences and understanding, but also to reflect a bit on what's not going so well and what could be some of the opportunities to make things different and better in itself. Now, we know that how we recover from disasters and whether we actually build back better plays a very instrumental role. The COVID-19 has been an example, a shocking example to that. The investment that's going post-COVID-19, I mean, if I can say that, is an example if whether we are going to all together achieve the Sustainable Development Goals or the Sendai Framework targets or not. Now, if you just pick up some of the keywords that came in from the last panel and the one previous, the number of back-to-back events or cascading events have been increasing. That's putting immense pressure on the fiscal system in countries. It's putting a huge pressure on the not just the NDMAs, National Disaster Management Agencies, but also other ministries which are trying to tackle the socio-economic development and processes. The lack of financing, the capacity issues that member states, both at national and local level, are facing, are some of those challenges that we need to come together and start addressing through various forums and mechanisms in itself. Today we learned that we actually know a great deal about what works from the experiences of the experts, practitioners, and those who have overseen long-term recovery efforts, but also early recovery in those processes. Now, we learned from colleagues' experiences of how to build long-term resilience through recovery, but also we touched upon resilient infrastructure, good practices on governance and financing, aligning recovery goals, and in itself, there are still other opportunities out there. I mean, it's clear that we need to institutionalize learning from long-term recovery for better monitoring and evaluation systems. I think some of the panel members mentioned about it. The midterm review, the Paris stocktake this year, the SDGs stocktake this year, all provide opportunities, but at a global level. This is where all the various actors come together that have the responsibility to support the implementation of these various frameworks. But just not midterm review. I mean, if you look at the Bridgetown initiative, which is trying to call for the inclusion of natural hazards in all lending instruments, both commercial and non-commercial, is one of those examples where there's a push to bring resilience into the recovery processes or reconstruction processes. Look at the Bretton Woods reforms is another example where there would be a lot of discussion that has to do with building back better and the opportunities around it. Now, I won't go further into these things because I'm sure you are very well aware of what's happening and what's going to come. But the layout of opportunities and challenges are there for you to take into consideration in your decision-making processes and planning. Now, this is the end of the forum. We will be meeting again next year in here with the engagement, with all the engagement that we have with you. So let me close by first thanking all the speakers who traveled all the way, but also who joined us here in virtually today. I would also like to thank both Ron and Takeo-san from the government of Japan for co-chairing IRP and leading the IRP and all its partners in that. I'm also thanking all the IRP members who are present here in the room and those who are not for their engagement and support. Allow me also to thank Government of Japan, ADRC, and the Hyogo Prefecture for their continued support to IRP in the last all the years that we are over here together. But let me also thank my team, Yuki and Paul, for all the work that they had to do to bring everybody here together in the room. So that's a commendable job in itself. I and UNDRR looks forward to the continued engagement with you, and we hope to see you both at the regional platform in Americas. That's the next one coming up very soon. If not, then at the New York high-level political meeting of the midterm review and the risk reduction elements around that. So thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
Thank you very much.